Today I was assigned to preach to you all about our brother Angelo Macri. Our brother Angelo appears to be the friar who had and did it all. Using simple words, he preached beautifully to people of all socioeconomic backgrounds. He spoke against the injustices of the world and the mercy of God, and he brought even more people to the confessional. He held positions of leadership, novice master, guardian, provincial minister, etc. He was known as the paradigm of a good leader, and his predecessors followed his example. Even more so, he was spiritually endowed with gifts. Gifts of miracles, ecstasy, prophecy, bilocation, healing, and the reading of hearts. However, what I want to focus on today are not his abilities or his accomplishments, but how he was that guy who left and joined the order 3 times. Born as Luca Antonio, he experienced a disillusionment. He suddenly felt that city life, the attractions of the world, and the joys of family life were not for him. At 19, Luca decided to join the Capuchins. However, Luca's situation is unique. Soon after he joined the order, he was not satisfied with the poverty of the friars they were living, and he decided to leave. Maybe they had too much beer and soda in the fridge. When he returned home, he remembered that the world was not for him. So he went back to the friars. Then the account says, he was overcome by temptations and oppressed by uncertainty and doubts, and he left again. But again, he realized this world is not for me, and that he made a mistake and wanted to come back. The account reads, profoundly humiliated for having given in so easily to temptations and longings of the world, he prayed sincerely to God not to abandon him, but to sustain him against the snares of the devil. Trusting and apprehensive, he presented himself a 3rd time to the friars, his voice quivering with emotion. So before Angelo became the famous preacher of Italy, before Angelo became the provincial minister, before Angelo became the miracle worker, he was a hopeless case. He left and joined the order 3 times. He was constantly met with doubts and uncertainty. And when he finally was sent to ministry, the ministry of preaching, he bombed terribly. And here is what I think makes Angelo so special. Not his miracles, not his preaching, not his positions of leadership, but that he continues to ask God for help. I think the seed of all of this is that he had to turn to God. See, from the beginning, Angelo made mistakes that were public. He was a subject of ridicule, and would have been the model of uncertainty. He probably drove the brothers crazy and made his family crazy as well with his decisions. However, the thing is, Angelo had to make peace with his mistakes. They were public, so he could never escape his mistakes. Instead of becoming resentful, instead of playing the victim, Angelo turned to God for help. It was in this turning to God that characterized the rest of his religious life. It was through his experience of sin and grace that made him a force to be reckoned with. He was a good confessor, not because he was a softy, but because he knew the power of sin intimately, and he knew the forgiveness of God intimately. He knew sin from having succumbed to worldly temptations and leaving twice, and he knew God's goodness from having been readmitted 3 times. His experience of sin and God's mercy colored him into all the accomplishments that he was able to do. However, brothers, this leaves us in a precarious spot. Our brother Angelo had to make peace with his mistakes because they were public. But we have the luxury because our mistakes are not public. We do not have to work on our bad habits because no one knows about them. We do not, even more so, we can deny our mistakes. We can insist that we are always right and that we do not mistakes. We can be that picture-perfect friar who prays, serves the poor, and does Mass and is docile, and then just repeat that cycle over and over again. We can stay in this image, in this bubble, because it appears that we never make a mistake. Or we can accept the messiness of life. The messiness that we don't always say the right things. The messiness that we do things that we're ashamed of. The messiness that we can let people down and that we are not perfect. We can muster up the courage like Angelo and say to God, I need help. Therefore, God does not bless the already perfect, but he blesses those who fall and then seek God's help. We see this in the prodigal son. We see this in Peter, and we see this in our brother Angelo. God blesses those who fall and get up. So when we look at it, we can see that God blesses those going to AA meetings. God blesses those who seek therapy. God blesses the brother who knocks on another brother's door and says, I'm sorry. God blesses the ones who turn to him, who say sorry and that I need help. So yeah, Angelo is a great preacher. Yeah, Angelo was a great leader. And yeah, Angelo was a miracle worker. But yeah, let us not remember Angelo Acri because of his accomplishments or his abilities, but by his courage, his trust, and his humility to always say to God, I need help.
Amen.